Last year I somehow managed to beat all of Fallout 4's survival mode without using a single item, and I felt pretty great about that achievement overall. But let's be real here, the main questline is far from the most difficult content in Fallout 4. How could I feel I had beaten all of Fallout 4 item lists when 3 significantly more difficult DLCs were just sitting right there? So come along with me for what is by far the most insane challenge I have ever attempted on this channel, as I attempt to beat all of Fallout 4's DLC without using a single item. I just got harpooned? From what? What the crap? What the crap? I hate VATS. Oh crap, this is gonna be awful because the game is falling apart. This is seeming possible. Here goes, everybody. Make it end. The hero of our tale is a man named Item Not Found, an absolute unit of a being who has taken on behemoths, radiation chambers, the entirety of the Brotherhood of Steel, and much, much more. But what he faces now puts all of that to shame. At the end of this journey lies a challenge that is handcrafted to be as difficult as potentially possible to complete in a run like this. But for anyone who hasn't seen my other videos, and don't worry, it's absolutely not necessary to, I need to quickly clarify what I mean by no items. I cannot have any non-quest items in my inventory whatsoever. Any items forced in there must be immediately dropped before I can continue. And even those quest items cannot be equipped for any reason whatsoever. That means I can't just cheese this by going to do some side quest that makes you use armor or weapons and then bring that for the rest of the game. That's absolutely not allowed. And yes, that includes the Thirst Zapper. Don't worry, we'll get there. Caps cannot be used for any reason, and I also am not allowed to get in power armor. Settlement building's allowed because it has to be for multiple quests in the game, but it's incredibly limited since I can't bring any outside items into a settlement. And finally, I'm playing in survival, and I banned all companions because they can be heavily utilized to sidestep most of these restrictions. Out of the 3 major DLCs, Far Harbor seemed like by far the easiest with this specific rule set, so while I make my way northeast, let me quickly cover where the build lies after completing the main quest. Item Not Found is currently level 65, and here is a list of all special stats and perks he's acquired so far. I'm going to quickly highlight the important ones for how the build functions, and you can read the rest of them if you're so inclined. Most of the build centers around Blitz, which drastically increases my range, paired with Sneak, better criticals, and Ninja to do insane damage from stealth. Life Giver 3 and Solar Power 2 allow me to both heal and remove radiation, and Cannibal allows me to not starve to death. And finally, in the event stealth fails, I rely on Iron Fist 5 and Critical Banker, which allows me to paralyze enemies in VATS so that I can either get away or take them out while they can't move. Every other perk I've taken is pretty much either utility, flat extra damage, or damage reduction. But enough about that, because the Nakanos have a missing daughter and a boat that drives itself, so I'm heading to Maine, baby! Avery and Alex meet me on the dock with a not-so-warm welcome before immediately requesting my aid in defending the town, because in case you didn't know, the majority of people in Far Harbor are pretty dramatically incompetent. However, I'm playing in survival mode, and that boat cutscene is pretty darn slow, so I really wanted to find a bed to take a power nap in first so that I didn't have to do it over and over in the event I died. Can I go to the tavern? I can't pay for a room! Maybe here? Maybe the clinic area? What's the chances that Old Hickory Dickory's island over here has a bed? Gosh, darn it. Well, here goes something. And by that I mean a lot of time. It's gonna be a lot of time. After wasting a non-insignificant amount of my own time, I decided to head back over to the front gates of Far Harbor, hoping that they were nearly done fighting the Gulpers. But apparently that fight stops as soon as you're out of range, and now I found myself locked on the outside of the gate. So things got a little more tense than I was expecting. I need to build some crits off of these guys. Okay, cool. All right, so we can fight these things decently well. Ah! What was that just... Oh no. Why do they make rad roach noises? That's misleading. Remember when they screamed to open the gates earlier and then very much did not do that? Have we survived? Is it over? It's over! No, it's not over. Oh, we are so dead. How do we get back? How do we get back in the freaking city? I did not mean to be out here. Oh no, that's a lot of dudes. That's anglers and crap. Take one down, pass it around.
800 gulpers of beer on the wall. I don't know what I'm freaking saying.
Well, while I had some close calls, thankfully I didn't make any catastrophic errors in that fight so I could get the quest underway.
Please don't make me do it again. Oh, heck yeah! I'm gonna eat y'all's friends. Let's go! Woo! All right. Good start. Oh, what? Oh, what? No! Y'all didn't mind the last time I did it! Oh, that's bad. That's real bad.
Who knew that the people of Far Harbor would take issue with you eating their friends? They're so touchy. Anyway, at this point I had to either go find a bed to sleep in to lock this in or start all over, and as I mentioned, I was not keen on doing the latter. I managed to find some sleeping bags being guarded by trappers and somehow not get slaughtered by those trappers, and then decided to just lock this in and hope that if I waited long enough they would re-welcome me with open arms.
We're all chill now, right? Holy crap, we actually are.
Avery.
That wasn't that bad. Yeah, some crazy guys out there eating your people.
Thankfully, it seems radiation has completely ruined the memory retention of all of the Far Harbins. Far Harbites? Far Harbums? After finally managing to start the quest properly, I immediately hit my first road bump, and that's that you're supposed to get Old Longfellow to show you to Acadia. However, the means to doing that is usually to buy him a drink, which I can't do because I can't use caps or hold a drink. Thankfully, there is a speech check to bypass this, but unfortunately for me, Charisma's not the most important special stat for the whole no items build, so this was going to take me quite a few tries. Even more unfortunately for me, the only bed actually in Far Harbor requires you to rent it, which requires caps. So that trapper camp from earlier, every reload I had to run from there back to Far Harbor until getting a speech success. Strong start. Also, as a side note, for all of my challenge runs, I try my best to follow the quest lines in their intended order. Even if there is a sequence break that I, the player, know based on prior information, I try to only use those as last resorts because I think it just makes the runs a bit more interesting. So rather than heading straight to Acadia, I was chatting over and over with Old Longfellow.
Let's go, Longfellow.
Let's go, Longfellow.
While I take a quick stroll through the fog with Old Longfellow, it is worth noting that there are some unique perks the player can get depending on how you complete the Far Harbor questline. And naturally, I was looking heavily into those because I had two more difficult DLCs to go through after this. By far the most consistently useful here is Far Harbor Survivalist, considering the rest of them either only have a % chance to activate or are based on radiation, which naturally heals itself for me. So I wanted to make sure I got that one on lock. This meant at bare minimum I needed to side with Far Harbor against the Children of Adam. On top of that though, you can still get Destroyer of Acadia after that if you still choose to destroy them for seemingly no reason. And while not a huge buff to me whatsoever, it was better than nothing, so my plan was to try and get both of those by the time I left. Also, I finished the main questline with the Institute, so destroying Acadia just made sense. With that being the case, I figured it'd be fun to go ahead and do all of the Far Harbor quests so that by the end of the DLC, I could encounter the most difficult enemy that Fallout 4 has to offer. But enough about that for now, because first I had to make it to Acadia, meet their freak show of a leader, and chat with Kasumi, who naturally doesn't want to leave right now, so it's time to move forward with the quest. Kasumi, like any other rational person in her situation, just really wanted to know, so what's the deal with Dima? In order to find out where to go next, you need to either pass a speech check or eavesdrop on a conversation. The whole eavesdropping thing, though, requires me to go through a terminal locked door, and I both have no hacking skill, and also am not going to pick up a password if it is avoidable. So it was time to save Scum yet another speech check to find out about Dima's memories hidden within the nucleus.
Oh, we got one!
This whole section of the quest was a lot of back and forth talking that doesn't amount to anything important for the run, other than that it left me hungry, tired, and thirsty by the end of it. And the only way I can fill my hunger is with a person, which left me in a bit of a pickle. The good news is the synths on the inside of Acadia don't care very much for the synths on the outside of Acadia, apparently, so after a quick snack, I was headed off to the nucleus to join the Children of Adam.
Oh, exploded.
This bit of a quest has you go drink from a magical radiation spring in the forest and then follow a mysterious figure through the fog in order to get to an area overrun with ghouls to grab some little figurine.
Hello?
Hello? Is this the Krusty Krab? Stop telling me to come. Stop saying it. Investigate the holy site. Okay. This is where it gets tricky. We just run. Open. Get me in. Where the crap is the thing I need to grab? I forget. Oh my gosh. I made a mistake. I forgot you had to, like, do crap in there. Okay, we go back. It's been a minute, y'all. It's been a minute, okay?
Admittedly, I haven't played through the Far Harbor DLC in at least a couple of years, and I completely forgot how this part of the quest went. For some reason, I thought the ghouls didn't attack until after you completed your objective, and I thought I'd have time to just run away from them. By the time I realized that that was in fact not the case, I was already in too deep and just tried to do it anyway, which naturally did not work whatsoever. That sent me all the way back, and I had to once again follow the shadow figure through the woods while it repeatedly said follow and come.
Hey, guess what, y'all?
Excuse me.
They could have phrased that any other way.
The second time though, knowing what was going on now, I was able to use a combination of paralyzing strikes and sneak attacks to make things go much more smoothly. This is also a great time to point out that I do have the max rank in rad resistance because of some difficulty I had during mass fusion in the main questline, which has made Far Harbor generally a lot easier than it would be otherwise. After finally officially joining the Children of Adam, I naturally ignored all of them since I knew I was going to blow them up anyway and headed straight for Dima's memories. Surprisingly, there was actually a bed on this route, which I found astonishing. But on top of that, none of the automated defenses here really caused me that much of an issue with my current build. Not even the legendary Assaultron Dominator survived more than a couple of hits.
Ooh! 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 Holy crap. I am a freaking freight train and I love it.
Although I do think it might have had an impact on my live chat at the time.
What are y'all doing? Why are y'all thirsting after Robot Lady? Stop it.
I did have another surprise fight with a secondary Dominator after turning the power on to get to the memories, but even that one didn't pose too much of an issue, although I have no idea how I survived this.
Oh, I forgot about that part. Why did that not do more damage?
From there, it's something that I think most people have come to know as one of their least favorite parts of any modern Fallout game, and that's the Dima memory section.
Oh gosh.
This was extra painful for me this time because it was one of my first times trying out multi-streaming, which puts a heavy processing load on your computer and was causing me an absurd amount of input lag, making what is already incredibly frustrating just downright stupid.
I gotta spell it out for you? Go across the bridge. Like, why did they make them just so stupid? Why is one of them stuck? Riveting gameplay loop. Todd, that's not where I'm pointing. Come on! I'm ravenous from lack of food. What? Why? Help defend Oberlin Station. Do you see that I'm having a little bit of a hard time with this? Why not just give me all the building blocks out the gate? Why'd you have to spread them around like this? You're not cute, Todd. You're not cute. Sorry, I skipped some steps because I didn't want to do them. Come on! Please! Make it end!
Anyway, after finishing my time with some perfectly implemented game mechanics and what can only be described as absolutely masterful game design, I was headed off to the Harbor Grand Hotel to look for the nuclear launch codes to blow up the nucleus. Unfortunately for me, the Harbor Grand Hotel is completely filled with super mutants, and at the level that I'm entering, there are a ton of high-level and legendary super mutants inside. This will be a recurring theme through all of Far Harbor. My level is making most of these areas more difficult to clear than if I were 10 to 20 levels lower. Why are they so strong?
Oh gosh, and that was no sneak either. Oh shoot, maybe I shouldn't have eaten that guy. Something I thought I'd never say. Oh, we're gonna have to paralyze again. Oh, this is bad. This is bad. One moment, this guy has a stupid amount of HP. Get down, stay, don't. This is all well and good when there's only one of them, but if another one shows up, I'm so freaking dead. Okay, we're fine. We're fine. Come on. Bah. Bah. Okay, we're fine.
Even considering that, I somehow managed to make it all the way through to the codes completely deathless.
Did I pick some caps up earlier? Just like absentmindedly? I mean, I can't spend caps anyway, but did I absentmindedly pick up caps, forgetting what, like, run we were on? I have a weird recollection of picking something up.
On the way, apparently I wasn't super mentally engaged and I accidentally just picked up 6 caps on autopilot. Really, that doesn't affect the run at all, since I have caps from quest rewards that I can't use anyway that are just sitting in my inventory, but my live chat had a big problem with it, so I had to reload and start all over, and trust me, it went just as smoothly the second time.
You need to reload, it's the only way to be sure. Do y'all really want, maybe we would restart to where we started. Is that worth it to y'all? I'll do it, you know I will. And I won't bat an eye about it. It's the only way to be reliable and truthful. Are y'all serious? I mean, we can. Sure. Whatever. Forcing me to reset for mistake that has no consequences. We are the baddies. Yeah, I mean, I could have just consoled out literally all of my caps. It doesn't matter. I can't use them. Stop eating me. Oh my gosh. Y'all did that. That one's on y'all. That one's not on me. I'll increase the death counter, but you know it's your fault.
No justice.
Good. Oh gosh. How did that not? I don't know why I didn't take damage from that. I'm also not complaining about it. Nice. Anyway, nothing weird happening here. I'm nothing if I am not the type to both give into and then immediately backtalk the exact same bullying. I don't know who I would be otherwise. Look at that. I don't even have any caps. Find your evidence now. First you lie, now you cheat. Listen, if you control the information, you control the narrative. Don't ever let anyone tell you otherwise.
After finishing there though, sadly I still wasn't done with super mutants because I had to go discover Dima's secret over at the Vim Pop Factory. Another location completely overrun with very high-level super mutants. While this location was significantly more difficult to clear than the last one, at least the reward at the end was totally worth it.
Yo, look! The Vim power armor! Cool. See you later. Freaking... This run can be so anticlimactic sometimes. This seems like a mistake that I'm making, but it's a mistake I'm making on purpose, so that means it's... okay. And it ate all of my other attacks. Run away. We blitz attack. Bam. Bam. Okay. Leveraging blitz there is gonna always be the right call, I think. Legendary mole rat broodmother. I'm assuming that means that there's not just the one, but we'll see. Yeah, nope. Regular broodmother. All right, listen, you can't have only broodmothers. You gotta have some worker bees, mole rats. This is poor management. You gotta have some normie mole rats. Why are you against lesbian mole rats? It's not got to do with the fact that they are both brood mothers. It has to do with the fact that how are you a brood mother without a brood? I don't think you can just call yourself a mother if you have no children. I think you have to have kids for that. You can't just declare that you're a mom. My problem wasn't that there was no brood father. My problem is that there were no brood. What if the brood moved out, huh? You know what? Fair. Maybe they went off to college, you know? I know Mole Rat College is accepting this time of year. So you're right. That one's on me. Oh, that a lot of mutants, y'all. Can we just go learn his secrets and not fight the like 6 super mutants up there? Because that sounds great to me. We'll take out this master. Master of what? Oh gosh, oh gosh, oh gosh. Oh gosh, oh gosh, oh, jump over. Oh, we're doing bad. We're doing bad. This is the bad timeline. We're fine, 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 we're fine. We're not fine! We're not fine! Bop! Get on the ground. Okay. These are the moments we've been waiting for! Is that dead? That's dead. We already dead. Killed, done, dead, killed that. Let's see. Is it Comes?
There we go.
It was Comes. Whose terminal is this? Why is that your password? Don't answer that. I just, like, very briefly jotted my eyes through all of chat and decided to reply to nothing in it.
I finally made it down to the basement and hit yet another roadblock. You have to be able to hold a shovel in order to dig up the grave in the basement. Nah, I'm just kidding. It just lets you activate it. Apparently my fingers are made of steel.
Oh no. Oh, you don't have to have a shovel to dig the grave. Cool. We're just going to town with our hands, apparently.
And for all of my hard work, what's the reward I find? The skull of Captain Avery. But I thought she was alive. So stupid. Whatever, it's a quest item. I got what I came here for, and I don't really care. So we are headed right back out. Before heading back to any of the major settlements though, I figured while I was out and about, I would go ahead and knock out some of those Far Harbor side quests I mentioned earlier, starting with the Eagle's Cove Tannery. All you really need here is the power tools for the Mariner, but in order to get to them you do have to clear your way through quite a few feral ghouls, which normally aren't that big of a concern, but there was some pretty tough ones here.
Fog ghoul. Okay, fog ghouls are fine. Those just get us a little bit of extra. Come on, man! Okay, we got sneak attacks off there though. Oh, we chained them. Oh no. Oh my gosh, he hits like a truck.
Overall, the quest wasn't too terribly difficult, but on the way out I was stopped by some weird dude named Machete Mike. I don't really remember what the point of this part of the quest was, but he wanted the tools for himself instead, which like, no, I went in there and found them, so they're mine to give away. Also, what sort of a monster would deprive Far Harbor of the tools they needed to defend themselves anyway? The dude's weird, but anyway, we've got more quests to do, so I'm not going to worry about it too much. Earlier back in Far Harbor, I took a quest from a crazy lady named Cassie Dalton, who told me I needed to go pretty much on this quest across Far Harbor to avenge her bloodline or something weird. I didn't really care overall, mostly she just sends you on a bunch of kill quests, and the first of those is to clear out the location called the National Park Campground, which is overrun with ghouls. But overall, not a ton interesting happens there. The ghouls are shockingly lower level than most of the rest of the island. However, upon returning to tell her that I did clear that location for her, let's just say for the next quest, she upped the ante by a pretty significant margin.
Fog crawler? I don't want to kill a fog crawler! No!
While in Far Harbor, I had the uniquely fun and incredibly rare experience of telling a woman that she is currently deceased.
I'm pretty sure I still have my skull. I think I have it in my head.
And in response, she just told me to go find the parts for some fog condensers off a dead guy and fix them. I'll be honest with you, if it were me, I think I might have had a slightly different response to that information, but hey, you do you, not Avery.
I found him! Hey, that was a sneak attack. Don't ask me how. I walked straight up.
Overall, that whole side quest was incredibly easy and not memorable in the slightest, but it did unlock the ability for me to go talk to Teddy Wright to trigger the Rite of Passage quest. This is actually one of the most memorable quests in all of the DLC for me personally. They have you perform this ritual called the Captain's Dance, which pretty much means you go to some remote area of the island, throw some meat in the water, and summon a bunch of crazy sea creatures to try and kill you, just so that you can intentionally single-handedly fight all of them to come back and prove that you could. It just tonally feels incredibly different than everything else in Far Harbor. Pretty much everything you do up until this point is trying to help the city survive, and then all of a sudden they're like, hey, go fight some monsters in the wilderness so people think you're cool. It's super bizarre, and I love it. However, if you've done this quest remotely recently, you might see a giant red flag that I was careening towards at full speed. And that's triggering the Captain's Dance to start. Like I mentioned, to start this little ritual, you have to drop some fresh meat into the water to summon all the creatures towards you. That meat is not a specific quest item you're given, it's just any meat from any animal kill you happen to have in your inventory. An inventory which, in my case, must remain empty at all times. This is one of those rare instances where the game expects you to use an item from your inventory that's not a dedicated quest item, it's just something you have to go get. Normally it's not an issue at all because most people have some random meat from animal kills on them already. But in my case, it causes a huge issue. I ran into the same thing with the biometric scanner and military grade circuit board needed to complete the teleporter in the main questline in my previous video, but for those I could just drag the items from the overworld to a settlement and stow them without ever putting them in my inventory. In this instance, there's no settlement here to work with. In theory, the same solution can work here. I can just drag some meat from elsewhere in the world to the area and drop it in the water without ever actually adding it to my inventory, which is totally fine by the rules, and has been required already. However, this time I have a much smaller area to search through in just the island, since there's no way for me to bring items from the Commonwealth to Far Harbor. Or is there? No, there just isn't. I spent over a half hour unsuccessfully trying to get any items to make that voyage with me, but unfortunately, as I suspected, the boat doesn't work like an elevator load zone which lets you take an item through it. It works like a door load zone, meaning anything other than you that's on the boat just magically vanishes somewhere between the Commonwealth and Far Harbor. I'm not surprised by that result, but it would have been a fun solution to this problem. However, thanks to the majesty that is the creation kit and a very dedicated member of my chat, we did find some loose raw meat on the island that actually wasn't very far away from where you do the Captain's Dance. Probably put there by the game as a bit of pity in case you didn't have any meat on you, but still, this was a huge win. Unfortunately though, this is where I found something deeply frustrating with how Bethesda coded this quest. The trigger is not, in fact, raw meat hitting the water in the area, but rather the trigger to start the quest is raw meat leaving your inventory in the vicinity of the quest marker. Why? Couldn't tell you. Probably because it was a little easier to do that way. But that means I am stuck. However, the main questline for Far Harbor still lies unbeaten, so before I waste any more time trying to find a way to start this quest, I decided to go and wrap up all of my other loose ends first, and then just come back here at the very end to see if I could find any other way to get it to start. Stepping away from that dead end, I was off to kill Cassie Dalton's fog crawler, and lucky me, this one spawned in paler than the average fog crawler, therefore making it over twice as strong. Why? Evolutionarily speaking, it makes literally no sense, so who knows? But thankfully, the old sneak blitz crit still was able to carry me through.
We just keep punching. We don't move. I think these are all counting as sneak attacks. We cheesed it. We cheesed it and I'm okay with it. We cheesed it and I'm okay with it. I don't care. Woo! Heck yeah.
After telling Cassie I'd done killed that crawler, she sent me off to Brooks Head Lighthouse to kill a bunch of trappers, led by a guy named Douglas. I'm gonna be honest with you, the lead raider names in Fallout 4 are pretty much always underwhelming.
They have so much health. I don't have enough crits. I don't have enough crits for this. Oh, no. Oh, good. We can spy on them from here. Thank you, Todd. I'm sure this is what you had in mind when you designed this rock. Danger from what? What? I did not think they had worked their way all the way around. Nice. Yes! How are we still in danger? From what? Come on! I'm fighting for my life out here! I mean, that's kind of always when you fight in combat, but you know what I'm saying. Oh, the neck snap. That means we're hidden. It's fantastic. Let's eat some corpses. Douglas. Don't mind me, Douglas. Don't mind me. Oh, what? You fell down, Douglas?
After avenging Cassie Dalton's family name or something like that, I was finally done with all of the Far Harbor side content that I could do. Other than, of course, the Captain's Dance thing from earlier. So it was back to the Far Harbor main questline, where right now I needed to go get a nuclear launch key. This was actually shockingly difficult. The launch key is guarded by a number of high-level anglers, and it's under the water, meaning the only way you can get to them is to swim over, where I can't fight whatsoever. Normally you could just pick them off from a distance, but for me that doesn't work since Blitz breaks if they're not on dry land.
Oh, there's 3 of them here. We need to paralyze you. That's the important one. How are you not dying? I'm hitting the paralyzed one, aren't I? I cannot hit the right one. I can't hit the right one! What the crap was I hitting? We triggered the legendary. Good. Oh, heck yeah. Oh, there's still another one. Wouldn't this be an embarrassing way to go out? Come on, Blitz. Come on. Ooh, and we got a 4-leaf clover. Heck yes. Okay.
I now had everything in my possession needed to go blow up the nucleus and all of the children of Adam, so naturally I headed straight over there since doing so gets me by far the most useful perk, which is a +5 to all of my damage resistances. Before detonating their home though, I figured I would personally take out as many children of Adam as I could from stealth for bonus XP. You'll see multiple times that I try and get a little bit of extra XP here and there when I can, because I know Nuka World's on the horizon, and I'm going to need to be an insanely high level to even have a chance.
Like, what if we snuck around and got a little bonus XP? You know? I know that I could also, like, do their quests and stuff, but I don't want to. Nobody minds? Nobody minds. This is great. I didn't think it would be this simple. You know, you'd think after a while they would start to go, maybe something a little weird's going on around here. Failed what Adam requires. Oh no. I failed the quest. Nuking them doesn't even matter at that point. Just like a little cherry on top. Like a decorative explosion. We'll take out brother Devin. Devin has no freaking clue what's going on. He is completely clueless right now. Not gonna get unclueless either.
After individually taking out, and oftentimes eating, every single child of Adam I could get my hands on, I finally went and beat the singular guard between me and blowing up the entire nucleus. And then I had the most intense escape sequence you can ever imagine.
Escape the nucleus. Well, it shouldn't be that hard. Everybody's dead. You just kind of stroll out. Little goopy heads there. Oh no, 25 seconds. We gotta eat brother Devin.
This granted me the Far Harbor Survivalist perk.
You received the Far Harbor Survivalist perk. Huzzah!
And then I was headed off to Acadia to tell Dima about what I had done.
What have you done?
And would you believe he had the nerve to lecture me on it when he had killed and buried a woman and replaced her with a synth and then wiped his own memory from it so he wouldn't remember he did it? I mean, come on, dude. There was really no reason to inform Acadia about this. I just did for some reason. But then when I went back to inform Far Harbor about it, and to let slip that Avery's actually a synth, I tried my best to save her life and even managed to pass a very difficult speech check.
Holy crap!
Mainlander cleared my farm, avenged my family.
Hey, Cassie speaking up for us.
Everyone hear about Machete Mike?
Oh no! Oh no! Not Machete Mike!
Apparently, after my interaction with him earlier, some crazed maniac both killed and ate Machete Mike.
Whoop! Yeah.
Sorry, y'all. Machete Mike looked tasty. I couldn't help it. I couldn't help it.
I regret nothing. He tasted good. What can I say? Tender. Oh no, he's already shot her. Man, I like Synth Avery.
I don't know. For me personally, that feels like a bit of an overreaction to something that no one can prove happened. Regardless, the unquenching bloodlust of the Far Harbums was not satisfied there, and they decided to all storm straight to Acadia to take out all of the synths. Which honestly suits me just fine since it can get me another unique perk.
Oh, I should not. I want to blitz into that room so bad, but I shouldn't. Who am I kidding? We all know I'm doing it. Oh, Kasumi! I'm so sorry. Your parents are going to be disappointed in me, for sure. We are going to tell them that his daughter was a synth, tried to attack me, and then I had no choice but to kill her. Sorry, Kasumi. I had to know.
Ugh, I'm going to be honest with you. Somewhere along the way, I totally forgot why I came to Far Harbor to begin with. The good news, though, is that Kasumi's not a synth. Apparently.
She wasn't a synth. Man, that sucks for her, doesn't it? That's a bummer, all right. I missed the entire Dima kill. That's okay. We took down Kasumi, so that's something, I think.
Anyway, it was all totally worth it for a perk that only triggers 25% of the time, and based on the wiki, may be completely glitched out and never do anything at all. To be completely honest, I don't know if I have definitive proof that it ever triggers from here on out for the rest of this playthrough, but hey, maybe it helped. At this point, I've now completed the Far Harbor DLC, but I still really wanted to finish the Captain's Dance quest and see how far I could get with the Far Harbor side quests, but unfortunately, after spending a long time on it, I could find no way around having to put an item in my inventory. Just to satisfy my own curiosity, I did go ahead and complete this quest with having an item in my inventory for the minimal amount of time as possible, just to see if I could get through the rest of the Far Harbor side content.
You just do a paralysis, and another paralysis, and another paralysis, I said? What's hitting me? I already paralyzed you. Why are you not paralyzed? Because the game is falling apart! Also, it's a legendary. Why the crap is it a legendary? It doesn't. Okay, non-paralyzable. We answered a question and have learned that this is awful. How many attacks was that just did not work? Okay, that one worked. And then none of the rest of them did. Cool, cool, cool. VATS is so good. VATS is such a good system that was invented and made, and like nobody ever has had a problem with it. Oh, got it.
And I went and did one other quest after this, which I spent like over an hour on while going completely insane.
Love it. I love it, Fallout. Thank you, Todd. How do they keep I'm looking at the door. Where did he come in from? This one's gonna be a reset. Yeah. That's some junk. I'm gonna kill this trapper like not a coward. Oh my gosh, it was a mistake. It was a mistake. It was a mistake. It was a mistake. I died. I died. Oh my gosh. Come on. Yeah! We did it!
Just to find out that the quest you need to trigger after that is locked out if the Mariner distrusts you, which happens if Machete Mike gets killed.
It's because you killed Machete Mike unprovoked you can't do Red Death. Are you serious? I didn't know that was a thing. Does he have to be alive for Red Death? What? Why?
So unfortunately, I am prevented from getting to Red Death twofold, both because someone killed Machete Mike, and also because meat must come from Pip-Boy to trigger Captain Dancing. Regardless, I've got 2 other DLC to complete, so it was time to say goodbye to Far Harbor and head towards the Automatron DLC quest start. Before going to meet up with Ada for the first time though, I did realize that sometime between now and starting Nuka World, I was going to need to do a pretty significant XP grind. mostly because I needed to get some very specific perks to have a chance at getting through the beginning of that quest. The main ones that I needed right now were all of the 4-leaf clover perks and all of the moving target perks. And I figured if I'm gonna have to grind to get these at some point anyway, might as well do it now so they can at least help me through the Automatron DLC as well. So to that end, I spent over 2 hours clearing all of the enemies, trees, and other miscellaneous pieces of crap off of Spectacle Island, turning all of them into shelves, which I then deleted and turned into shelves, and deleted and turned into shelves over and over and over again while hearing Idiot Savant ringing loudly in my ears just to get a whole 3 perks. As completely insane and totally not worth it as that might seem to you, I promise you will see much, much worse before the end of this journey. However, for now, that did at least get me the last 2 ranks of 4-leaf clover and the first rank of moving target before I went to go help Ada fight the same 6 robots she's been trying to take out for probably over 3 months at this point. These first few bots are obviously not that big of a challenge to kill, but it does reveal the 2 main issues that will plague me throughout this entire questline and why it's way more difficult than Far Harbor. First, my paralyzing strikes do nothing to robots, which is pretty much the only thing you fight in the entire questline. And second,
That's gonna be the problem with this questline. Oh my gosh, I've had a rough day.
every single robot you kill in this game, along with all sentry bots in general, explode violently upon death. That is a very large issue when you can only kill them from the closest possible range. When heading out from there, I did remember something about Fallout 4 that I virtually never get to actually experience, and that's that I can just now go get Bunker Hill as a settlement. Since the Institute controls everything, they're not gonna resist, and I honestly forget that Bunker Hill's a settlement in the majority of my playthrough since I never really play past the point you get to utilize it. So I figured, why not go ahead and scrap everything I can from there so I'll have a lot of extra useful crud in settlements when I need to build all the robot workbenches and all that nonsense later. And absolutely nothing went wrong during this process.
Oh gosh. When's the last time I slept? It wasn't in Bunker Hill, that's for freaking sure. Why can you walk out that hole? I didn't think you could walk out the holes or I would have been walking more carefully, dang it!
So after greeting Ada yet again, and then once again clearing all of the scrap from Bunker Hill, and actually saving the game this time, I quickly headed over to Covenant, which has served as my main base of operations ever since I killed all of its previous occupants, so that I could reassign one of the random settlers there to rope Bunker Hill into my supply chain. My reason for doing all this is that I needed some more specific junk in my settlement inventory nexus in order to build the robot workbench, and naturally I can't just go pick that up myself. While in Covenant, I also reassigned someone to Hangman's Alley, because that's where I'll be stationing both Ada and the robot workbench, since it's by far the closest settlement to the CIT ruins, and since I finished the game with the Institute ending, I can warp to there from anywhere on the map. Hey, the Institute may suck, but they definitely come with their perks. With all of that set up, Ada needs me to go kill a Robo-Brain in the General Atomics factory, which thankfully has a mattress on a boat right beside it. Because, oh boy, was I correct in saying that this DLC would be much more difficult than Far Harbor. I'll be fully honest here. I originally planned on making all 3 of the major DLCs their own unique video. But Far Harbor was so easy, I assumed the other 2 DLCs would be as well. And literally 1 quest into the Automatron DLC, and I was immediately humbled and completely knocked on my behind.
That deleted my health bar. Holy crap! Oh, they follow you out. I didn't know that. Yep, that's where he comes from. I normally don't even see those. I've never taken on this quest at this high of a level before, so I didn't know those existed. Quantum freaking ripped bots, whatever the crap they're called. That's a different quantum junk bot? I'm just gonna crank through the crits on him. We need to get one of these dudes out of here. Come on, I just need to be able to get back out and heal. There's another quantum junk bot coming, and he's definitely gonna come in here. Do I just run now? Oh, maybe he's not, maybe he's not, maybe he's not, maybe he's not. Dude, move. I hate VATS so much. Y'all, I hate the entire system of VATS. He got stuck, what, on a urinal? I was trying to wait until he zipped forward and then I was going to cancel VATS and run. He got stuck on a freaking urinal, and then also it keeps slow-moing like I'm getting a kill, which I'm not. Keep punching me, keep punching me, keep punching me. Run. Jumped the gun. We get out and then we still have to keep running because they will follow us out. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Is it charging up an Assaultron blast? Why does it have that move? Why does it have that move? Oh, dark craving. Okay. So we now have to find someone to eat.
I did run into another recurring issue for this quest here, and that's that I can only satiate my hunger through cannibalism. And thanks to the dark craving addiction that gives you, should I get hungry at all, I go straight to Ravenous, which gives me a -8 endurance, therefore making any combat effectively impossible. In times like this where I have to sleep and save a lot, that happens repeatedly, and none of the enemies I'm killing are edible, meaning I regularly have to go out into the wasteland to find something else to eat, just to come back and continue dying to robots. Even all the way up to the end of this quest, the final room with the Robo Brain, the main way you're supposed to get in is by dropping in through the ceiling. Thankfully, I was able to hack the terminal and then just run away to leave the door open so I could get in that way, but even then, there's 3 robots in a tight space that makes it very hard to clear. I was finally able to beat it, but I spent like over 40 minutes in this factory alone. After bringing that radar beacon to Ada, she needs another radar beacon, so she sends me out after another Robo Brain, this one thankfully in a much less populated area. This time I opted for the tried and true coward's way of fighting, and I don't regret it in the slightest.
Got the radar beacon. We don't have to fight the other one. I don't care. Coward! That's me, I'm a coward, and I don't care!
Sadly, Ada needs yet more robo bits, so she sends me over to the Fort Hagen satellite array. Unfortunately for me, this is a much larger location than the other 2 I've had to clear. However, slightly fortunately, it's at least run by the Rust Devils, meaning there are some humans inside, so that I do have snacks to get me through the entire endeavor. Unfortunately, since this location is run by people, that means they've also set up turrets and other traps. Thankfully for me, with Max Sneak, I don't set off any of the traps, but that doesn't mean that the robots won't, which can still end up screwing me over many times. And I can't disarm them because doing so would be adding items to my inventory. So it's just a couple more things I have to constantly be on the lookout for.
Nice. Eater. Okay, exterior cleared. No biggie. And a level up, which is awesome.
You killed him!
You killed him? You've assigned genders to your robots? You don't assign genders to your robots? Not usually.
Clearing the first part of this location wasn't necessarily easy, but it was surprisingly doable since it's fairly segmented inside and there's tons of like crap to hide behind. And thankfully for me, I've done this quest before and fairly recently, so I did remember that Ahab, who's standing right behind Jezebel, will attack you as soon as you free her, and to go ahead and kill him in advance.
I thought it was gonna kill him, and I was bracing for explosion. Ahab should not be that big of a problem because I don't think he can even get in here. Ahab, not a big deal. That's a big deal. All right, we run. Where to go? Where to go? We're blocked off. We're sectioned off. Did not expect that Assaultron to come running. Not gonna lie. Nice. Did Assaultron hags blow up? I feel like they should, and I don't think she is. Assaultron hag is pretty clearly gender coded, though. You're not wrong. Here I come, Mr. Anti-Dominator. What a quote. Here I come. Big question is going to be whether or not this kills me. Like, automatically. Run, 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 run. Hey, we can survive it. Cool.
One other silver lining about this location is that since people live here, there are actually beds inside. Now, you have to clear out quite a few enemies before you can actually use one, but once you do, you have a reliable fallback point every time you make forward progress, which makes the whole thing feel a lot less painful.
Heal up. Let's go!
This entire location is child's play though, compared to what lies at the end of it. There you'll find Ivy in a full suit of power armor, therefore making her completely immune to my paralysis, and armed with a Tesla rifle, which does an insane amount of damage. Accompanying her is an Assaultron Gorgon, which does an equally insane amount of damage, but is also incredibly fast and will chase you to the ends of the earth. Fighting them both together, while totally naked and with your bare hands, is certain death.
Can I get it to ping VATS if it runs around the corner here? And then be close enough to like zip all the way around? Yes, that does work. Killed him! Oh, the plot thickens! She just said you killed him about an Assaultron, which typically have... Dropped her gun. Was that a fusion core ejection? How strong are you without that, Ivy? Not very when you can't move. Sucks when you don't have your fancy power armor, huh?
I did end up getting incredibly lucky here, and I do want to quickly explain what just happened, as it likely doesn't make a ton of sense. When using a ranged weapon, you can choose specifically which body part you want to attack in VATS. For enemies in power armor and sentry bots, this includes their fusion cores, although you can pretty rarely get those shots off since they're very well protected. However, when using unarmed strikes or a melee weapon, VATS just has you target the entire entity, but you're still hitting specific parts of them when you land your attacks. That's how you're still able to cripple arms or legs or torsos on enemies when hitting them with melee weapons. You just don't get to pick which part of their body you're hitting. Because of how buggy VATS is, sometimes when fighting an enemy in power armor, or even a sentry bot in rare cases, because you'll somewhat clip into them while punching in VATS, you can directly, accidentally, hit their fusion cores while standing in front of them, which I know makes literally no sense, but it happens, honestly, surprisingly often. So what effectively happened here is I punched through her torso, hitting the fusion core behind her back, which dealt enough damage to cripple it, therefore causing it to eject and explode. After that occurs, since the power armor has no fusion core, Ivy had no choice but to just hop out. Is it really, really weird and kind of cheesy? Yeah. Can I do anything to prevent it? Absolutely not, so I'll take my wins where I can get them. Having finished that location, I headed back over to Hangman's Alley, where I fulfilled my promise and built Jezebel a body. I built her a really sucky body, but she didn't say that there was any specifics on what had to go into it. Anyway, she then gave us the information we needed so that we could head off to the Mechanist lair. However, this is where things get a bit tricky with my rule set, since Ada does have to unlock multiple doors for you, but I said no companions. So what am I going to do in this situation? The answer here is pretty simple. While she does have to come along, there's nothing stopping me from just telling her to wait so that she's never near any of the combat. But just to be doubly sure she never provides any benefit, I did take her to the robot workbench and modify out anything that could be useful, leaving her as just a floating, headless torso. Is that more than a little cruel? Probably, but hey, I wasn't taking any chances at compromising the integrity of my rule set. The Mechanist lair is located within the Robco Sales and Service Center, and upon arriving, it was immediately apparent that I was in over my head. After having Ada let me through an excessively unnecessary number of locked doors, I was immediately met with a series of traps and robots right out the gate. Personally, I've always found this tunnel of laser tripwires to be really funny. Like, the idea that somebody would just charge straight through and not realize it was trapped is hysterical to me.
Nope. Bad call. We run. We're trapped in. Let's go! Oh, man. I'm not supposed to trigger traps. I went full in on it, assuming I wouldn't.
I have obviously taken for granted the idea that I'll just never trigger another trap again. I know the sneak perk does specifically say floor-based traps, but I just sort of assumed that all laser tripwires would be coded in the same way. But obviously, I was incorrect. After narrowly surviving that encounter, I did decide to slow things down a lot as I progressed forward, because there are no beds anywhere throughout this very, very long gauntlet to the Mechanist lair. There is one right before it when you get there, but everything else has to be done without dying, or with frequent exits to a bed outside.
Okay, not gonna question how that works.
Honestly though, credit where credit's due, I feel this entire location is really well designed. Even with not having any save points in it, it feels very intentional to keep you on the edge of your seat even extra if you're playing in survival mode, and it's some of the most tense I've felt in Fallout 4 in a long time. Overall, I really like this location, and I think it makes a great end to this questline. Okay, I'm done nerding out now, I just wanted to point that out.
Oh gosh. Wait, did one of those just say machine gun turret? Oh crap. Yeah, I don't really have a lot of plans for this section. We run. One's gonna blow. We have to leave this entire area. They're gonna start dropping like crazy now. Run, 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 run. Oh, we somehow didn't take any damage off of that. I don't understand how, and I don't care to ask. This room is one of the main... I've been worried about this one quite a bit, so if we can make it through this, And I'm feeling a lot better about our chances. That one's got an Assaultron beam charged up. We have to kill it from stealth. Or not. No, I'm dead. Turn around, turn around, turn around, turn around, turn around, turn around, turn around. We run for it. Not gonna end up good for us either way. It didn't use the Assaultron head. I don't know why. It did not use the Assaultron head. So it looked charged, but it wasn't. Well, I could have fought it then. But now's our chance. Good. All right, how many more we still got up there? Oh, not many. Not many at all. There's like two or three. And then there's the turrets at the end, which I honestly don't think I can do anything about those. But how are we going to get Ada to come through that? We need to get rid of these turrets. I'm just going to run by and try and do a drive-by punch. Nope. I mean, I guess I could jump up on the railing? All right, one more swing and we got that one. They take a second before they start shooting. I lied.
Open this.
Thank you, torso.
Clearing my way to the actual entrance to the Mechanist lair wasn't actually the most insanely difficult thing I've ever done. Like, I managed it all deathless, but it did take me over an hour to get there because that's how slow and safe I was playing it.
Was I just stressing over nothing? Maybe I was just stressing over nothing. Will she just teleport to me? Oh wait, she's here.
Let's go. Use this.
That's awesome.
Thankfully, from previous casual survival playthroughs of this area, I did remember that there is a single bed right before the Mechanist lair in the area that has a bunch of like prison cells full of ghouls. One of the little cots is on the ground instead of on the wall, and for some reason the game lets you sleep in that one. I don't even know if that was an intentional move by Bethesda or not, but it is a complete lifesaver in this challenge.
This one does let you sleep in it. Yes!
Obviously though, if you've ever beaten this DLC before, then you know what's coming up next, and you know it makes everything I've achieved so far in this video look like a complete joke. The final gauntlet you have after meeting the Mechanist is one of, if not the most difficult fight in all of Fallout 4. Now, in the case of this particular challenge run, there is one much more difficult fight on the horizon, but before I could worry about that, I first had to figure out how to survive what feels like never-ending gauntlet of constant robots attacking me in a confined space where I effectively can't get hidden whatsoever. There's a few main issues here, in addition to the just constant bombardment of robots and the fact that many of them explode. My biggest problem is that I have no real way to get hidden, which is the only way for me to restore health. I haven't mentioned it before now, but the third rank of Life Giver, which is my only way to heal other than sleeping in a bed, can only heal the player when you're not in combat. That means that if I take any damage at all, my only way to get it back is to get completely hidden in a very small room filled with robots. On top of that, there are spotlights in this room that just never lose your location, so getting hidden proved to be all but impossible.
All right, I shouldn't be able to get spotlighted here, right? How? How am I spotlighted here, huh? Okay, we've made it sort of through the first wave and gotten into caution. That's not terrible. Oh gosh. That hit me one time. I had a lot of health and that hit me one time.
I tried over and over again to find any corner of this arena where I could get reliably hidden, and I was having absolutely no luck. The spotlights were just constantly giving away my location, and I couldn't fight anything without getting seen by them. I was getting increasingly terrified that this was actually completely impossible within my current build.
We might have to do this after Nuka World. I don't see the line, so to speak. I'm not seeing the line, y'all. I'm really not. This is some stupid garbage. And like, I knew it was some stupid garbage, but I forgot about the freaking searchlights. Why do they lock onto you when they're not like, why? Why is that programmed that way? Just to make sure you're not allowed to use one of the like key playstyles of the game? Like stealth is just not allowed here. You're just like, no, we're gonna let this be an entire playstyle you can use in almost any circumstance. Other than this one, screw you here.
Unless I could find some way around this, the only other real option I had to take this on was the Robotics Expert perk, which requires an intelligence of 8, which currently I have an intelligence of 1 for increased XP from Idiot Savant. That means in order to get just the first rank of the perk, I would have to leave here and go level up 8 full times. As a reminder, by scrapping and building shelves out of literally everything on Spectacle Island, the biggest settlement in the game, I got 3 whole levels. So before just packing it in and going to grind level after level after level, I decided to push back on this quest a little bit to see if I could break it just enough to make it work. And believe it or not, I actually did find something. Something that turned this entire fight on its head and actually gave me a fighting chance. But you might not like it.
We could get up on some of this stuff. We might be able to take out a searchlight. I don't know if taking the searchlights out will even make a difference here, but it would be good to know if that's something worth considering. There's gotta be a way. There has to be a way to get onto those pipes. Drag a box? Maybe. There's like a bucket over there.
I mentioned earlier that in order to clear the main quest line, I did have to float a couple of items out in front of me to carry them to a settlement so that I could build the teleporter. Since they never entered my inventory, and that was the basis for the rule set, I ruled that it was okay. Is it a bit of a stretch? Sure, of course it is, but it was also completely required in order to have any chance of progressing the main quest line.
That doesn't work anymore, right? The whole, this whole thing? It does still work?
If you hold an item out in front of you, put your back against a wall, look straight down, and repeatedly mash the jump button, you can effectively climb a vertical wall in Fallout 4. It's definitely a glitch or an exploit, however you prefer to word it, but at no point have I banned those from this run. Heck, because of how broken VATS is, exploits happen on the regular whether I want them to or not, so banning them would be all but impossible in this run.
Don't tell me they're immune. Wait. Now hold on a second.
Listen, I recognize that while this technically isn't breaking any of the rules as I laid them out at the start of the video, that it's definitely pushing things more than a little bit. But like I said, it is only utilizing mechanics that I've already had to use in this challenge, and I can personally promise you that this will lead to a more entertaining fight than me grinding the entire video to a screeching halt to go grind up 8 levels and come back with Robotics Expert. But still, if all of that isn't enough for you, I recommend you call your local crossing guard, because you need to stop. While I was trying to take out the spotlights, I did look around the arena for any better spots to get hidden, and honestly had very, very little success. I did find one spot that looked like it might have some potential behind some barrels sitting on a forklift right under where the mechanist stands, but honestly, I figured it was kind of a long shot, and if it doesn't work, I didn't really know where I was going to go from there.
Maybe we'll try this. This seems promising. I'm sure they can shoot us from somewhere, but like if we can get somewhere to where we can heal back up, then we could maybe brute force it. Maybe.
Miraculously, this one small hidey hole in combination with the removal of the spotlights finally gave me the ability to fight the robots from stealth. In addition to that, since it's an area that actively breaks pathing, it regularly triggered psychic punches.
Psychic punch, please. We found it. We have found what I needed.
I haven't mentioned psychic punches in this video yet because really they haven't been relevant before now, but it's an interesting glitch that occurs when using Blitz in VATS. Also, that's not the technical name for them. I don't think there is one. That's just what I've taken to calling this glitch. Blitz in VATS seems to use the same pathing as NPCs, so if you activate Blitz while standing in an area that NPCs don't know how to path to, it tends to break things quite dramatically. Sometimes you won't punch at all, but other times the game will make the punch go through, even though it can't figure out how to get you from point A to point B, so your character just remains perfectly still.
Oh, and those guys can... So I'm still not invincible here by any means. This is not over, but we have a line.
That does not mean that this fight suddenly became free though, because it is still an insanely intense fight, and there are a couple of areas on the catwalks where the robots can see me, and a bunch of the robots will explode when you kill them, so there's still a lot of variables in play here. It does seem like the enemy robot AI was at least familiar with which areas they could see me from, and which areas they could be hidden from me in, because anytime I waited a bit too long, they would all get out of sight, forcing me to come out to fight them anyway. So again, this is not an easy win button. I also found out that messing around with the enemy pathing can cause the fight to just completely break and the waves stop spawning, which did happen once or twice, forcing me to just reload and start all over. Incredibly annoying, but again, I'll do whatever it takes to finish this.
Usually a turret bot that pops up from the floor. What? What the crap? So it's supposed to be this? Is it because I was never... Something has to be detecting me for it to pop out? Do you have anything else, perhaps, Mechanist? Get to do it again.
In an interesting bit of irony, another huge issue that I faced was that any of the enemies that would come up from the floor would break pathing.
That's why I keep having VATS glitches. Like the little hop glitch. It's because the ground has the turrets in it. And so the game is not registering them as walkable ground. It's freaking VATS out because the floor can open up and just isn't yet in certain places. I can almost guarantee it.
This causes a bit of a reversal of sorts. See, if I'm in an area that can't be pathed to, it causes psychic punches. If an enemy is, it just breaks, teleports me right to them, and I don't punch whatsoever, allowing them to just immediately kill me.
Initiate self-destruct.
Self-destruct. No. Okay, we're fine. We're so fine. We did it. We won. I'm sure there's no more robots.
Activate the Tesla coils.
Tesla coils. No thank you.
Also, later in the fight, the Mechanist literally starts raining bombs and electricity down from the ceiling, so we are far from out of the woods.
Oh, shoot. That one's got a freaking, like, Tesla art crap. Oh, it's getting zapped, though. They're getting zapped by the thing. 58. 58. Okay, that's progress. Bring who in? Her. Dual bot. Okay. We've found our new problem, and it's dual bot. By the way, I officially, as soon as that thing is spawned in, I feel no remorse about using this strategy. At all. None. Wait, is it charging up a... Oh no, do those go through walls? I can't remember if they do or not. We're gonna have to hope they don't go through barrels. What killed me? I heard like 2 little laser blasts. What killed me? We want to take him out now. Oh gosh. Get behind the thing. Get behind the freaking six deaths. That one just didn't do anything. That one just sat there, and that happens sometimes. I can't take one shot. One shot. What do I do when they park so far away and I can't get them to move, but I also can't go to danger because one bullet kills me from full health? Gosh! What the crap do we do there? Yes! Shove it up your rear!
On top of all of that, thanks to the constant electricity and explosions raining from the ceiling, even if I'm able to successfully leave my little hidey hole to take out a difficult-to-beat robot, there's no guarantee I can make it back alive.
I could just go for it as soon as I get within range. That might be the play.
Please don't be a mistake.
Holy crap, holy crap, holy crap, holy crap, holy crap, it worked. Was that a fuel tank? Was that a fuel tank she dropped? Are we freaking serious? I feel like I earned that one. Come on, man. That's not cool. That's the farthest we've made it. And Turbot's not going to move, is it? I guess we do what we did to the Assaultron, but this time there won't be a random explosion that kills me on the way back. This should be fine. Except that it maybe isn't. I'm so dead. We just run. I'm so dead. I'm dead. I forget about this, that I can't trust VATS anywhere but my stupid Psychic Punch corner. Why? Bring in the Dualbot. Do it. Do it. The 58% triggers it, doesn't it? Bring her in. Yes. It shouldn't do that twice in a row. We have to go for it. She's never going to move. But maybe if we do it from like the side, it won't break as bad. Please. Just work. Come on. Come on. Did it not blow up? She was dead, right? Do I just have to take out the other ones now? What happened? What happened? I can't tell. Am I safe or not? It's not dead? So do we have it where it's effectively rendered immobile but not dead? And if so, does that mean when I punch it, it'll immediately explode? Can we zip from one to the next? Hold up, this might be the play here. Because that one's almost dead too. Toolbot's 95. Okay, so we do this. Please, work.
Eventually, I was able to find a path through all of the most difficult waves of this fight, but after that's all over, effectively a sort of randomized bombardment of crap happens as the entire factory has like a total meltdown, which includes a ton of electricity and bombs and a bunch of hurriedly thrown together trash bots, some of which are absolutely worthless, and some of which can still completely one-shot you, so I had to play this abundantly safe.
No. No, we don't. Oh gosh, that one's fast. That one's fast. That's the one that was scaring me. Zap them, please! Yes! Yes! Zap them all! Okay. Oh my gosh, one of them has breached the wall. We hide! We let it do what it's about to do! I don't know if it shuts them down or not, or if you still have to kill the ones that are left, but just let it end. Did the robots shut down? The robots did shut down. Okay.
However, eventually the power shut down completely, and I was able to convince the Mechanist to come out and talk so that we could put all of this behind us.
No freaking shot! I'm dying to freaking Mechanist! Don't even think about it! We ain't talking this out! I'm done! I am done with this crap! You put me through that? No shot we're negotiating! I am out of here!
Yeah, I was not taking any chances there, and besides, after all of that, I had worked up quite the appetite.
Y'all, I'm obviously not of my sound mind at this point, okay? I am in a panic. Yes, I was panicking. I was panicking, y'all, okay? Shut up, Ada! I don't want your quests! I want you to leave me alone! Stop giving me items and leave! Stop being near me! What did she give me? Get rid of that. I can't use that stuff.
Questionable bundle of items. Yeah, a pillow, handcuffs, and a camera is actually a super questionable bundle of items. With that taken care of, it's finally time to head on over to good old Nuka Town, USA. Now there are two main ways you can complete the Nuka World DLC. The first and most likely intended way is where you, as the new overboss of Nuka World, attempt to unite the raider gangs by clearing out and divvying up the remainder of the 5 parks of Nuka World. However, there is a second option, where if as the overboss you decide that you just hate the idea of ruling a bunch of raiders, you can side with their captives and decide to drive all of the raiders out of Nuka World completely by killing off all of the gang leaders. This quest is called Open Season and does not require the clearing out of any of the parks of Nuka World whatsoever, or pretty much anything other than just going to kill 5 very difficult targets. Now, Nuka World has this very interesting little glitch or exploit, whatever you'd prefer to call it, that lets you skip the entire very difficult introductory section of the Gauntlet and Coulter fight by interacting with a chain on the opposite side of a door because there's a little crack between the door and the door frame. This allows you to go straight into Nuka Town and the rest of the open area of Nuka World before ever having to run the Gauntlet or fight Coulter, but it does cause a lot of issues and breaks down the majority of the DLC since you're not intended to be able to do this. For one, if you ever enter the Cola Cars Arena where the Coulter fight happens from any other doorway than the one you're intended to, it permanently breaks the fight and makes it completely inaccessible forever. And for two, all of the raiders in Nuka World just effectively stand around motionless waiting for something to happen. However, all of the individual park quest lines and all of the interior loading zones within Nuka World work completely as normal as if you had already beaten Coulter. This does mean that Open Season is technically completable without ever having to fight Coulter whatsoever. I mention all of this now just so that I can very clearly state that this is not what I'm going to be doing. I recognize that this is technically a way that I could complete Nuka World itemless, but it is not, in my opinion, in the spirit of this challenge whatsoever, so it's not an option I'm entertaining at all. When I took on this challenge, I decided that I was either going to find a way to beat Coulter itemless, and yes, that excludes the Thirst Zapper, or I was not going to be completing Nuka World, and this was going to be a failed challenge. Period. This does not mean that I will not be considering Open Season as a valid way to complete the DLC, just that I'll only do it after beating Coulter as intended. It also doesn't mean I won't be using that door glitch to bypass the gauntlet for at least a period of time. I just will make sure not to break the quest down so that I can always come back and do the Gauntlet and Coulter fight later. I'm not sure if that'll be necessary or not, but I'm not closing the door on that option. For now though, let's quickly talk about the Gauntlet and the challenges it does, or more accurately, doesn't really pose for this challenge. The Gauntlet is composed of what I consider to be 10 interconnected mini challenges that are designed to sort of test the limits of your particular build and maybe find some vulnerabilities you've never really accounted for. The Gauntlet can be incredibly punishing in survival mode, especially with the save game restrictions. However, if you have a high enough endurance and agility to sprint for a very long time and maxed out sneak so you don't trigger traps, you can actually run straight past 8 of 10 of those challenges I mentioned. The first room you come to is filled with turrets that take so long to activate you can run almost completely through the room before even getting shot. The second room is filled with floor traps that you ignore with a high enough sneak skill. The third room is filled with radiation that is effectively a time trial anyway, so again, speed is the idea there. The next room is another trap room, albeit this one is not completely negated with a high enough sneak, but if you know an easy route through the room, you can ignore everything there. The room after that is just full of landmines. Sneak takes care of that one again. The room after that is filled with mirelurks, but if you know which way you're going, you can run past before any of them notice you're there. Then there's a small hallway filled with explosives that will activate because it activates upon the door opening and not you stepping on something. But again, as long as you're fast enough, you still don't get blown up. And then after that, there's a couple of rooms we're going to double back to before one final room where a bunch of raiders are shooting at you, and guess what? If you run fast enough, you probably won't even get hit. That leaves two rooms to talk about. The first is a room filled with poisonous gas that is slowly killing you the entire time you're in it, and the second is sort of an open shed area that has multiple ants and flying ant swarms. The gas room is effectively another time trial, but because there's a lot of different stops in the room you have to make, and each one of those stops spawns multiple rad roaches, you do have to fight and kill some of them, otherwise they will potentially stun lock you while trying to activate the terminal that lets you out of the room. Then in the room after it, while you could probably run past all the ant swarms, it is the best part in the entire gauntlet to take a breather, so I won't be doing that, meaning I will have to fight them to proceed onward. With some blitz sneak attacks, it's not overly difficult as long as I'm just the slightest bit careful. Throughout the gauntlet, there are 3 quest items I have to pick up, but they're all just keys that let you get through. The first is a key in the radiation room, which just makes you stay in there a little bit longer, and the second and third are both in the gas room. First, you get a key to unlock a door, and then within that room, there is a password to activate the terminal you have to use to get out. These are all quest items used only for that purpose, and therefore are completely fine by the rules. The other main noteworthy thing about the gauntlet is that I effectively need a perfect run of it to have even the slightest chance against Coulter, which means I did do it quite a few times. I need to make sure when I fight Coulter that I am not hungry, thirsty, tired, or diseased. Those first 3 are relatively simple. I just make sure they're all topped up before heading into Nuka World, and then just go through the gauntlet as quick as possible so as to not ruin that, but the diseased part does bring a couple of additional complications. In survival mode, there are a number of different things that can increase your chance of contracting a disease. One of those is getting hit by any irradiated enemies, and in this case specifically, irradiated insects. So if any of those rad roaches or ant swarms hit me and inflict a disease on me, that's effectively an instant reset, as most of them make the fight darn near impossible. On top of that, I obviously need to enter the Coulter fight at full health with no radiation damage, but thankfully that last shed area with the ant swarms is considered to be in sunlight, so as long as it's daytime, solar powered will take out all of my radiation, and then Life Giver will just slowly heal me while I wait for the Coulter fight to start anyway. The good news is there is a sleeping bag in the prep room right before the Coulter fight. The bad news though is that that is the only save I can do in the entirety of the Nuka World DLC before fighting Coulter, or I run the risk of soft locking myself. In survival mode, you save the game by sleeping and can have a maximum of 3 saves at any given time. When you sleep the 4th time, it will just overwrite the oldest of those 3 saves. For some unknown reason, when you enter the Nuka World DLC, it makes an autosave, which happens virtually never in survival, and this autosave does overwrite one of your 3 previous saves, meaning that only leaves 2 old saves from the Commonwealth remaining just by nature of showing up.
I don't believe it overwrites. It does? Oh no.
That means that sleeping in a bed once to make a save is totally fine, but if I happen to sleep a second time, I will then have no saves remaining from the Commonwealth, and once you're in Nuka World, you can't just take the train back out. You're stuck there until you can beat Coulter. So, if I find myself in that situation and decide I need to try and go back to level up some more, I'm just soft-locked and I have officially failed the run. So I have to be incredibly careful to never do that. So even though there are a couple of sleeping bags throughout the gauntlet, the only one I'm able to use is the one right before the Coulter fight. So this perfect gauntlet run I'm trying to get, I have to do all in one attempt, which definitely took a couple of tries, but wasn't really as hard as you'd think. But now it's time to talk about the giant, electrified, armor-clad elephant in the room, and that's Overboss Coulter himself. Let's quickly talk about some of the issues I'm going to face here. For one, the Cola Cars arena itself is quite the problem since it's a very small arena with very few ways to break line of sight, meaning getting hidden is incredibly difficult, and as a reminder, I can only heal with Life Giver when I'm not in combat. So if I can't get hidden, I can't heal. For 2, Coulter's in power armor, which as we've established means he's completely immune to my paralyzing strikes. Those are my main way to deal with enemies that I can't get hidden from, so the combination of numbers 1 and 2 is quite difficult for me to deal with. On top of that though, his particular power armor has an electric field around it that deals damage anytime you're within melee range, which as a reminder, is the only way I can deal damage, period. So every time I hit him, I take at least a little bit of damage in return. Wonderful. Coulter has 2 weapons he swaps back and forth between during this fight. The first is a power fist, which is an issue because it keeps me in his shock field for longer while he's punching me, and the second is a combat rifle, which is an even bigger issue because it just does way more damage and is incredibly accurate. The even bigger problem here is that normally I deal with stuff like that by using the disarming trait of the Iron Fist perk, but Bethesda decided that Overboss Coulter should not be able to be disarmed under any circumstance. Technically, the effect can still trigger, but all it actually does is make him unequip whatever weapon he's holding, in which case he just switches to the other one for a while before eventually switching back to the one he was on before, which means the perk does nothing other than make the fight slightly more unpredictable. And finally, the obvious issue here is that Coulter is completely immune to all damage unless first hit with the Thirst Zapper, which, as I said before, I will not be using. Now, I'm sure many of you may be wondering why I am standing here claiming that this should all be possible when it very clearly isn't. However, that's because I have not mentioned the one big oversight Bethesda made when creating Overboss Coulter. Due to what I can only assume is a mistake, Overboss Coulter can take a single type of damage without first getting hit by the Thirst Zapper, and that is critical hit damage. For whatever reason, I can only assume a coding error. If you use a VATS critical hit on Coulter, he will still take damage like normal.
That's what our crits do. Just so that everyone's aware, that's what our crits do.
This does not apply to sneak crits, only VATS critical hits. And technically I think the critical hits they come from overdrive, but that wasn't really relevant in this run since that's obviously an item I can't use.
What can we learn? What we can learn is that this is a wide open freaking arena. Because if I can't get hidden, I can't heal. Can we just do the old playground tactic? Playground tactic, promising. The old, but what if I'm on this side of the picnic table, eh? But what if I'm over here? I talked like a 1920s mob boss in elementary school, eh? Oh, I'm terrified as a human being right now. Like me, my real self is scared. Okay. It says I'm detected, but I'm not in combat, so my health should be regenning now. Let's check. I'm at 376. I'm at 388. Okay. Okay. We have acquired regen. Answer number 1. This is seeming possible. Once you get hidden, he stops moving around. All right. We're about to get our answer to what sort of a grind are we looking at? We're about to find out what sort of a timeline we're about to see. I now have all my crits built up. I'm hidden. I can get max blitz here. We're going to see what the timeline is now. We're going to do just 1 crit and run. Here we go. Let's see what our max damage on Coulter is. Didn't do anything. Oh crap, this is gonna be awful. Oh shoot. Oh, kill me now. Just freaking kill me now, dude. I don't know how to do anything but laugh at this point, y'all. I don't know how to do anything but laugh. Oh no. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't do anything at all. And one mistake and you start over. This will literally take me like 5 hours, even if I don't die. Holy crap. That's so stupid. Oh, man. Oh, big hit. Big hit. It moved. I watched it. Okay. Sorry, everybody. Lost my freaking mind there for a second.
So what exactly is happening here, and why is it making me react as if I am deeply unwell? See, initially, I thought VATS critical hits just bypassed Coulter's force field entirely, doing damage as they normally would. But as we just saw, that is obviously not the case. This damage still does ignore almost every damage modifying perk that exists. The only ones that affect it are your raw special stat associated with the damage type, so strength in my case, and the better criticals perk, which I already have maxed out. Even with both of those at complete maximum, the amount of damage I do per VATS unarmed critical hit strike is 2.82 damage. Now, while low, that might not seem too bad, until of course you see how much health Overboss Coulter currently has. That's right, he has 1070 HP, meaning that I can take him out for the low price of 380 VATS critical strikes. And as a reminder, it takes 5 unarmed strikes in VATS to build up a single critical hit. This is why I was so adamant earlier about grinding enough levels to max out 4-leaf clover. I'm going to need every single possible boost I can get to filling my critical hit meter. And just to quickly cover my bases here, I did test effectively every other perk in the game all at once, and my damage did not increase in the slightest. That means that blitz damage, sneak attacks, bloody mess, rooted, none of those things change the damage total. Oh, and also he's completely immune to Mysterious Stranger, before you get any ideas on that front. I can promise you, I tried out everything under the sun, and this is the only thing that can hurt him without the use of the Thirst Sapper. However, by nature of simply finding anything that can deal damage, that should prove that this is theoretically possible as long as I play absolutely perfectly, right?
The question then becomes, do I get too thirsty, tired, or hungry before I can finish this fight?
And unfortunately, for 2 of those 3 stats just mentioned, there's literally nothing that can be done about it. Obviously, there's no beds or water fountains in the arena with Coulter, and even if I could somehow get to a bed, as long as I'm still in combat with him, the game wouldn't let me sleep in it anyway. So there's nothing that can be done for either of those. However, for food, there is technically one thing that can help a little bit. As a reminder, the only way I've been dealing with my hunger for this entire run is by eating corpses with the cannibal perk, and the prep room right before the Coulter fight is filled with dead bodies. So I should, in theory, be able to drag a ton of them in there and have as much food as I need for the fight, right?
There are dead bodies in here, though. Please tell me I can eat one of them. I can eat this one, right? I can eat this one. Okay, cool. Cool.
Well, for some incredibly stupid reason that is unknown to me, all but one of the bodies in the prep room cannot be eaten by the player whatsoever. They're all effectively just set dressing or furniture pieces. There is one body of a previous prospective fighter named Anise that can be interacted with, similar to how I drug things around earlier in this video, and I can drag her body into the arena before I have to enter. So there is one time that I can eat during the fight, but just the once. As we'll soon find, that is unfortunately not really sufficient, as with the cannibal perk also comes the dark craving addiction, which means that every 12 hours I go straight from well-fed to ravenously hungry, and while ravenous you take a -8 penalty to endurance, or in other words, you start dying in 1 to 2 hits from Overboss Coulter. I tried multiple times and you effectively cannot fight whatsoever in this state, because in addition to taking an insane amount of damage from him, you also take a massive penalty to your AP, meaning I get even less strikes off, which means I get less crits off, which means I'm doing virtually no damage while almost dying in 1 hit. That means that even with dragging Anise's body into the arena, I only have a maximum of 24 in-game hours to beat Coulter before I become effectively useless. It was very apparent early on that I was going to need more levels in order to have a chance at beating him. However, Coulter's level scales along with the player, so going to get more levels myself would just make him stronger too, right? Well, yes and no. I did a lot of testing with Overboss Coulter's level scaling and eventually found that it works on a sort of threshold basis. When I entered Nuka World, I was level 78 and Coulter spawned in at level 82. I expected that just meant he stayed 4 levels ahead of the player, but in testing I found that was not the case. What actually happens is there's only a handful of different levels that Coulter can spawn at. If you enter Nuka World at the same or higher level than his current threshold, he'll just bump up to the next one, in this case level 94.
Player.set level 82. So at this point, he now, in order to be higher than my level, will have to be a different thing. So now he should be 94. 94. Okay, so we're not entering in the optimal state. We can still fight a level 82 Coulter as long as we're level 81. And we're coming in at level 70 freaking 7. So there's absolutely no reason not to go to level 81.
And while I can't do anything to increase my own damage output, I can do multiple things to increase my damage resistance, meaning I spend less time having to hide and heal from Coulter, and therefore have more time to actually fight him. I found out something else pretty interesting while doing this testing as well, and that's that Coulter's max level is actually 94.
And 94 does seem to be as high as it gets, but let's double check. Player.set level 255. Still 94. So that's at 255, he's still only at 94. So if we hit level 82, he will jump from having 1,070 health to 1,300 health, but then we can go as high of a level as we want. Or we go to level 81, we could actually edge it up to level 82. Through the gauntlet, we could be just close enough to hit level 82 through the gauntlet. We go in at level 82, he's already set at level 82, and he has 1,070 health.
In theory, if I absolutely had to, I could level to the point that I had so much HP that he was dealing virtually no damage. Because the interesting thing is that Life Giver heals on a percentage basis, meaning it takes the same amount of time to get from 0 health to full health if I have a total of 100 or a total of 10,000. So the more HP I have, the stronger I am against Coulter. Obviously, I had no intention or desire of leveling to 250 or beyond, but it was at least something to consider as a fallback to just get as high of a level as possible. But for right now, let's try getting to level 81 and see how things go from there. Thankfully, I had planned out my save, so I did still have one old save from the Commonwealth before I initially entered Nuka World, so I could revert to that to go and get those levels before entering for the first time. As I'm sure most people are aware, one of the most efficient ways to just grind levels is through the settlement system, but I was pretty much out of junk in all of my settlements and I couldn't bring any more into them, so my best case scenario was to just go get a new big settlement. And one of the only big ones I still didn't have was the castle. And I had enough settlements to have triggered that quest at this point, so I guess I'm going to retake the castle now. Since it's not at all relevant to this particular challenge, I'm not going to spend any time dwelling on this. I kicked all the Mirelurks out of the castle, got all the quest XP, and then turned all of the resources there into shelves to gain as many levels as possible. That actually wasn't nearly enough XP since I'm approaching level 80 at this point, so I also got Abernathy Farm and Outpost Simonja, and then also at one point went down to the Quincy Ruins and just fought a bunch of gunners just for the heck of it, and also saved Billy from a fridge. But anyway, I eventually made my way to level 81 like I was planning. Having completed all of that, I was ready for some more serious attempts at Coulter, but before doing so, I did need to once again get the absolute perfect gauntlet run.
Here we go. Lucky. Almost forgot again. All right, things are going smoothly, which has me concerned that it's all about to fall apart somehow. All right, we do a psychic punch on this one Mirelurk. We jump across the first two things. Then we drop down, drink water twice, come down here, drink the water. We're now as hydrated as we can be, and then we're going to eat again before we head out. Why are we getting so many idiots Avant procs now? Where were these when we were trying to grind XP? No, it's got to trigger on the rad roaches. We come up here, we kill the bugs, we get to full health, come back down, eat the body, run straight through to the end of the gauntlet, sleep in the sleeping bag, Coulter time. Okay, we're fine. All bugs dead. Gas should be gone now, so we should be safe to just come over here, eat this one. That is Sergeant Marks. Ouchies, got shot. All right, we'll heal up once we're in here. Not that big of a deal.
This time, entering the arena, I did have some slightly better tactics for the fight itself, rather than just sort of throwing myself at the brick wall that is Coulter the entire time.
Here goes, everybody! But there's 5 crits. All right, he switched to fists, which is good.
Specifically, I began noticing that he seemed to be switching between his weapons periodically, as in I don't think anything was triggering it other than the passage of time, meaning I could use that to my advantage. His combat rifle deals way more damage than his power fist, and it can hit me before I can get anywhere near him. Again, in order to heal, I have to get fully hidden from Coulter and then wait for a very slow Life Giver regen. Every time I do this, it takes like 1 to 2 in-game hours, and I only have 24 to play around with. So I desperately need to reduce the amount of damage I take, even if it means playing things a little bit more slowly, because in the long run, it will take less in-game time.
Oh, he's back on fist. Good. Build crits. Pop 1 crit. We'll run. Only like 365 more to go or something like that. 375, I mean. Oh, we switched. That sucks. Unfortunate. Alright, we're now healing. Now sit in this car and just heal up. Alright, so there was the initial, was that the 6-hour mark? That was the 6-hour mark, I think. And my first water ping. Just an intelligence -1 and a minor reduction to AP. I think we can still get 8 punches off. If we want to drag this out as much as possible with the slower crits. Alright, he switched to fist. He switched to fist. Good. Good. Whenever we come in with that, we need to have crits saved up whenever we have to heal, so we can punch him long enough to make him switch to fist. Rinse and repeat. Rinse and repeat. We just have to take as few shots as possible. We have almost cleared the R. If it's in caution, I could just wait here. I feel like we take this chance. I don't like healing up when I still have that much health left, but if he already, the hard part is getting into caution. So if I'm just already there, let's check progress real quick. We've made it that far. That's not bad progress for this only being, what, second or third heal? 8. I was trying to cancel VATS, not open my freaking pit boy. Oh, I just took way, oh man, that sucks. What? He did the power attack and pulled out his gun and shot instantaneously, and I took all 3 hits. That sucks. I'm gonna risk this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Throw a crit on the end. 8. Okay, by triggering it while he's still on gun and him switching to fist while in VATS, it's a riskier play, but then I have a safer getaway afterwards. I think that's the way to go about it. I might take an occasional punch here and there, but at least I'm not getting shot. So it's better to attack while he is still on gun, like right now. Might be a little early, but I don't know. 3, yep, 4. We back off right as he threw that punch. Okay, we got to dodge the next one. Good. Where's he at? I haven't even been checking. We've almost cleared the E. It's way farther than we've made it before. This is something. I'm tired from lack of sleep. That's AP refresh speed, right? That we can't do anything about. AP refresh, but it's only 5%. Okay, 5% is not a big deal. That's the thing, the tired and thirsty is only going to get worse as it goes. You still get 7 punches off per VATS, but as that number gets lower, it's only going to make this harder.
However, even with everything I've put into this is where his health bar was when I hit Ravenous Hunger for the very first time.
Let him get a couple of shots in, and then he'll switch quicker a little bit. Dark Crate. All right, we're Ravenous. We can only get 4 punches now. What is my HP? What is that? I have to get hidden. I have to get hidden right now. I can't even get near him or he'll fry me. Your HP goes down by that much when you switch to Ravenous. That's not good. I'm glad I noticed that. I almost didn't see it. Almost went in. That would have killed me. Out of curiosity. What's our HP at? 3. We had 3 health. Oh, man!
Keep in mind, this wasn't a bad fight either. Don't get me wrong, it was far from perfect, but not so far that I could do 2 times better in the future. At the time when I was working on this, I thought there was still maybe a chance I could fight him while ravenous, albeit very, very carefully, and then go eat the body whenever I hit the next stage of hunger. I eventually found that that was all but impossible because there just wasn't enough wiggle room to not accidentally die somewhere in the middle of it.
Okay, so what's our max HP? Plummets down to 437. So we could take like 2, maybe 3 hits. That's so brutal. I agree that we might want to re-optimize. We're going to play this next part aggressive. And if that results in me dying, then I needed to re-optimize anyway. If it doesn't result in me dying, it might be able to make up the difference. We're stuck, and he switched to gun. Yeah, it just took half our freaking health off 2 shots. Which, like, I'm surprised it didn't take more, to be honest, but... Yeah. Yeah.
Don't forget, throughout this entire fight, I'm also slowly getting tired and thirsty, and there's nothing I can do about those. Like, at this point, both of those had triggered at least once each. So even if I can fight for another 12 hours while ravenous, I'm just going to be that much more tired and thirsty by the time I eat Anise, meaning I won't be going back to full strength afterwards, but rather a significantly crippled version that has way less AP to work with and therefore less VAT strikes every round. Realistically speaking, that means that by the time I hit Ravenous for the first time, for this to have a pretty solid chance, I need Coulter to be below half health, since I'll have less AP after eating Anise than I would beforehand, and therefore it will take longer to whittle his health down. As you can see, I'm still very, very far from that potential reality. I did a few more tries like this, but none of them were really getting any better. So I decided to take a little bit more time testing to really see what the absolute limits of this were, assuming I could play the perfect game. I actually took some time off stream to try and test this. I took a character and effectively gave them near infinite health, to the point that I wouldn't need to heal at all in the fight, and just wanted to see if I literally just stayed in melee range the entire time and pushed it to its absolute limit. What's the maximum damage per second I can do to Coulter? And I repeated this until I felt I had done it completely perfectly for about a 2 to 4 in-game hour window that I could multiply out across the 12-hour gap. And you know what I found? It wasn't even close. Even on my best runs, after the first 12 hours, I was only able to get him down to about 60% of his total HP. That means, realistically speaking, even if I played completely perfectly and did this across the full 24 hours, he would still have 20 to 30% of his health left by the end of it. There's no shot I could get through that much health while not only ravenously hungry, but at this point also being at stage 3 or 4 on both thirst and tiredness. Now, I want to quickly talk about a couple of the other things I tried, because I don't want you to think that I just accepted at face value that this was the only way to go about this. As I mentioned before, entering the Cola Cars arena from any other door breaks the fight entirely, so there's no way I could go in through the back door and drop some bodies off in the arena and then come back around and fight him with those there. He just won't fight you at that point, he literally never initiates the dialogue and you just get stuck in the prep room. I also wanted to see what would happen if I could clip my way out of the arena. I wasn't sure how I'd get back in, but I figured there was a pretty good chance I could do some sort of a VATS glitch. So I tried my best to use the minigun that was in the prep area to shove myself through the wall in the arena. While I was completely unsuccessful, I did, just for the sake of it, console command myself to the other side to see if it would even be beneficial, and found something very weird.
Oh, they're actually here, but they can't be killed or VATS targeted. So they're real people here, but you can't do anything to any of them.
While there are a ton of NPC raiders watching this fight, none of them are actually people that you can interact with whatsoever. They're effectively set pieces that are just on a loop. You can't target them, you can't damage them, they might as well not be there. So there was actually no way, even if I could clip out, to kill anyone to get a body in there, because none of the people in the arena are actually real. I even went out into Nuka World to try and anger raiders to see if I could get any of them to chase me into the Cola Cars arena so that I could kill them and leave their bodies there to then try and glitch them into the arena. And nope, not happening. Nothing will follow you through that load zone no matter how hard you try. I promise, I tried everything to get another snack in there and it wasn't working.
He just hit me, so if he's gonna follow through, he will follow through now. Come on, dude, just be here. Just somehow be here. Yeah, freaking no. And I knew that was the answer, right? And deep down in my soul, I knew that was going to be the answer.
I'm going to be honest with you here. I have pushed this character build to its absolute limits. There's effectively no more perks left that can provide any benefit whatsoever beyond just passive health gain with increased levels, which, as I mentioned, will not solve the problem because I'm effectively on a race against the clock. My health isn't even significant here. On top of that, I've done an excessive amount of glitch hunting to find any way to make this work any better than it is, and there's just nothing. They actually did an incredible job at sort of idiot-proofing this entire arena and this entire fight to make you do it the way that it's intended. Unfortunately, and as much as I absolutely hate to say this, Coulter beat me. Just straight up, there's no other words for it. He completely kicked my behind. I have built an absolutely unstoppable force of a character, and yet he is still the immovable object that I cannot overcome. Sadly, I just have to admit defeat here. I've lost. There's no other word for it. This challenge run is a failure. I can't do it. I've used every single bizarre game mechanic and bit of weird tech that I could possibly find, and it didn't even get me close. There's nothing left to try.
Well, why is he still level 82? You don't think it sets when you first enter the gauntlet, do you? And if that's the case, there's no way to level grind in the gauntlet.
So earlier, we took a look at Coulter's level scaling through the lens of when he levels up and what his maximum level is. I never technically looked to see what his minimum level was. So even though I lost, I did some extra testing, just out of curiosity's sake, to see what the potential of this was. Coulter's minimum level is actually 30, the recommended level for you to enter Nuka World, which makes sense. At level 30, rather than having the 1070 or 1300 HP numbers that I was looking at, Coulter only has 400 HP. Which may not sound like much, but you also gotta realize a level 30 character is not going to be doing any damage or surviving any amount of time. Keep in mind, I was not even able to get a third of his health gone when he was at 1070, so I've yet to do 400 damage to him with a level 80 plus character. This whole Coulter level scaling thing did have me thinking though. Like I mentioned earlier, you can activate the chain from the wrong side of the door and just leave rather than going through the gauntlet, and then you can go anywhere in Nuka World. So what if I roamed around Nuka World grinding XP without ever leaving? In theory, someone could come to Nuka World at level 29, therefore locking Coulter in at level 30, and then grind like another 30 to 50 levels in Nuka World with no items as a level 29 character, and then maybe, assuming that I'm correct and that his level will never adjust, maybe get to the same strength item not found is right now, and then fight him, but with Coulter having a fraction of his current HP. And even then, it's still only maybe possible. And I'll be honest, I thought about doing that, but you gotta remember, I was 55 hours into this character once I finished the main quest line, and I've done another 30 on top of that. This is an 85-hour save file that I would be having to remake from scratch in the hardest combat area in all of Fallout 4. That would take an insane amount of time, and I'm still not even sure it would get us anywhere. I even went back and remade Item Not Found, thinking about restarting it. But not only would that be completely torture for me, but I mean, look at this man. We've put him through enough, haven't we? Like the horrors of the wasteland and hours, and for him, months and months of dealing with this, just to end up getting beat to a pulp at the end. Was I really gonna put him through all that again? No, he deserves to rest. His wife lookup failed, on the other hand. That's right, baby! You think if there's even the slimmest chance on planet Earth that something could be theoretically possible, that I will not see it through to its definitive and utter end? I think not! I have made it my mission on this channel that if I say something's impossible, it darn well better be. And I cannot yet say that this is impossible, so I'm not done. However, this video is already incredibly long, and effectively, I did fail this challenge run. Like the character that I made specifically for this purpose and beat the entire game in the other 2 DLCs with cannot beat Coulter. Period. Like, it's just not gonna happen. While this was a failed attempt of this challenge, I am not yet ready to say that the challenge itself is impossible. And I am more than willing to be the champion, to start over and do it all again to prove it one way or the other. So the next video on this channel, starting from scratch, level 1, Lookup Failed, will be molded and made for the express purpose of beating Overboss Coulter and the entirety of Nuka World. And here's a little highlight of what you can expect. And until next time, as always, I'm Magoo. Peacing out. Later. She's here, she's beautiful, and she's ready to kick some absolute behind. That won't let me get a blitz strike unless I'm up his freaking butt crack. I'll say it. Fallout 4 is a bad game. Are they stuck? Stuck problem enough? Ah! Punch again! Stop slow-moing and punch! Oh yeah, no, we're not ready for this fight yet. There's no shot. Y'all, what am I doing with my life? Whoa! Ooh. I have 5 rads standing here. Does that mean I'm near? Oh my gosh! Have I found a new tech for this fight? Dark Craving just hit. What? I knew it! I knew something was bullcrap about that. Why would anyone think this is the case? This is not on a wiki. This has not been tested. Nobody knew this because it's stupid. We got it. We've got our setup. We have it here. Oh my gosh, we've made it. We're going in, everybody. We're going in. It's time.